The community test environment has been a great success for Battlefield 4. DICE LA have made some big, fantastic improvements to the game, alongside producing more free content as well, which is a massive commitment to have considering the age of the game. And it's not really commonplace anymore for AAA titles to see post-release development last longer than a year after the full release. But what comes next? What will we see from the CTE in 2016? DICE LA haven't fully confirmed anything so far, and considering that 2016 is the year we expect the next Battlefield game to drop, we really can't be sure how much more they'll actually work on. So instead here, I'd like to give my opinion on what I'd like to see developed next year. Just before we continue, I have a quick message from one of my sponsors about a brand new mobile game called Mobile Strike. I thought it might be of some interest to you, and you've probably heard of it already. It does have Arnold Schwarzenegger in the adverts. Basically, it's a mobile MMO, and you need to build up your army to fight against others. But it's not just based on who's got the most power, as you'd expect. You need to learn the tactics and defeat the enemy. I've sunk a few hours into the game so far, and I am quite enjoying it. I'm playing it on the train on the way to work. That's where I've got my most free time. And if you do want to go and play it, check the links in the description. There's one for iOS and one for Android. Download the app and give it a go. Right, back on topic. Firstly, I'd like to see the continual development of the remaining 2 night maps that were in the CTE last year. That's Infiltration of Shanghai. That was the official name of the Shanghai night map, and I don't think Golmud Railway ever got a different title, so I'd like to see the night version of Golmud Railway as well. If you missed either of those maps, I luckily managed to capture footage of them last year, and being the good guy I am, they're linked on the screen for you now. Both of these maps followed the same design path as Zavod Graveyard Shift, even though publicly the first map worked on was the nighttime variant of Shanghai. It would be really cool to see some more night maps make their way into Battlefield 4, as Graveyard Shift really changed the playstyle of the map overall, and rounds that you'd have on the daytime version would be vastly different from the nighttime ones. Plus, you'd be using different equipment during the nighttime rounds. Like the flash and tac lights, they play a much bigger role. The flares actually become useful. The IRNV and the FLIR scopes also being used in their intended environments obviously had its advantages, and this gave players more options and the chance to use items that they might not have thought to have used before. Plus, it's a shame to see all of the work on those 2 maps, specifically Infiltration of Shanghai. It was the first night map that they showed publicly, as I said, and to our knowledge, it looked like they'd spent a lot of time on the lighting, although they did say it was one of the hardest lighting modifications they had to do because it was an urban setting, so you've got lots of different light sources. But it would be a shame to see all of that work go to waste. I mean, we're not too picky. I mean, more maps, everybody would like more maps. And I know that DICE really like to make sure that they finish something before they release it, but it would still be cool to see those things make their way into the vanilla game. Something else that I'd like to see DICE LA continue work on is the Squad Conquest game mode. And again, for those of you who didn't catch my video on it, that's linked on the screen. This was a variant of Conquest, obviously, but it was more geared towards a competitive environment. And in my opinion, it was quite a good game mode, but it was a bit too difficult to understand, which is probably why it didn't make it beyond prototype testing stage. I think the idea could be redesigned to mimic a mode that's on offering in games like Overwatch and Dirty Bomb, where a team need to defend an object, like a tank for example, as it moves through the map. The attacking team's aim would be to destroy the tank and stop the team taking set objectives along the mapped route for the tank. The defending team could respawn at the previously captured objective, and if you imagine like Conquest flag locations, the tank has a path through the map, through those major locations where a flag could actually be. The defending team captures the flag and the tank starts to move on. Does that sound like a cool idea? Maybe it's just me, but does sound like fun. Plus, it's not really a competitive game mode. It's more casual and the mode that anybody could just jump in and understand, which I think at this point for Battlefield 4, 2 years after release, is probably the best way to go. And finally, I'd like to see the developers do some more tweaking to the weapon balance and damage overall. It's always been said that the assault class with their rifles is the most powerful class on offer, and I think that is still partially true, although DICE have done a very, very good job at almost nerfing that class to make sure it's more on par with things like the Engineer and the Recon. On certain maps, these guys though can just dominate the top of the scoreboard, so why not take the chance to tweak some of those weapon statistics to make currently more popular weapons less appealing in certain situations. So let's say maybe make the M416 a little bit less powerful at longer range, and then maybe pull something out of the blue, like make the FAMAS a little bit more powerful at medium range, and give somebody an opportunity to use a different weapon that they might not have used before. I know from time to time that DICE tweak these things anyway, but sometimes a larger overhaul can change gameplay a lot and offer gamers a chance again to try different weapons that they haven't seen in their loadouts for a long time. Now, I'm pretty sure we'll get some kind of hint from the developers over at DICE LA very soon as to what their plans look like for 2016. You never know, they might have some really cool stuff planned, but my own feeling is this. Either they'll finish things off that they started last year, or they'll not offer much more than simple patches to fix bugs as they start to work on something else. Don't forget, news has already seeped out that DICE LA might get their own chance to work on a game soon. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget, if you want to check out Mobile Strike, there's links to the Android and iOS apps in the description down below for you to click on. It will take you straight to the download page. You don't have to if you don't want to, but the opportunity's there. Leave me some comments about what you'd like to see in the CTE in 2016. And while you're down there, drop me a thumbs up as well. But until next time, my name is Westy, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.